Hello and welcome to another in our series, Breaking Down Barriers. My name is Chris Igwe. I'm the author of this book, Breaking Down Barriers, My Journey from a Small African Village to the World Stage. And what I do in a very short video is just take you through some thoughts and ideas that I share with you around my own personal experiences, and basically want to weave this into your own life, for you to take some of those concepts that I talk about, some of those ideas, and see how or where they fit into your own life, because at the end of the day, it's your life. And I want to be able to share in a way that is going to help you through that process. I'm going to take you through very briefly today the chapter which is entitled Never Have Regrets. Never have regrets. Now, before getting into it, let's be honest. The majority of us, if not all of us, at some stage in life have a regret. Some people live in a perpetual cycle of regrets. They regret not doing this or not doing that. They regret not making this choice or that decision. They regret having made choices and decisions that somehow have impacted them financially, emotionally, physically, in many different ways. I am absolutely sure that you are one of those. We all have the opportunity to regret something that we did or didn't do. But what I'm putting out here is, and I do say absolutely never have regrets. And I can say it because I have a heavy heart about some of the choices that I've made, some of the decisions that I've made, which I'll come on to in a minute, which I do talk about in the book. I don't normally talk about all my own personal stories in the book, because I'd love, if you wish to or are interested, to get the book yourself. People who've known me for 20 or 30 years have read stories in there about me, which are very short, 50 chapters. They're very short chapters, because I want you to think for yourself. But I share stories which a lot of people don't know about me already, and yet we've been friends for a long time. But at the same time, those who've read them say they see themselves in those stories. And that's what it's about. So never have regrets. So I'll come on to a story a little bit later on. But what I'm going to say is that let's start off with the concept itself. When you have a regret, if you stop for a moment and you think about it, just in this moment in time, I can guarantee that it is pounding away at you. Maybe you're dragging you down. Maybe your emotion and excitement has suddenly gone to, it's like, Chris, why did you raise that? That was tough. I made a bad decision. I made a bad choice. Or I did something I shouldn't have done and I regret it. But what I'm saying to you is, as I sit here in front of you, these are not just words. This is what I live. So everything that I've put in my book is what I live. It's what I do. It's what I've done. And it's what I will continue to do in different ways. Never have regrets, because the emotional damage that it causes to you, the weight that it places on you, the power that it takes away from you, and so many other things. Why would you allow a regret to do that to you, to hold you back, when you just want to move forward? You want to move forward with your life. So you have to look at yourself and say, I hope from this day forward, maybe as a result of this, I will have no regrets. Look at them, accept and acknowledge them. I'm not saying hide from them, but you can't turn the clock of time back. What has happened has happened. Are you going to allow it to pollute your life? Are you going to allow it to drag you down? Are you going to allow it to give you a false image of where your life and your future can go? Or are you going to say, I'm taking hold of this. It's my life. I will not drag this stone which I've been carrying for years, months, decades. Here's a quote from Shannon L. Alder. She's an inspirational author and therapist. She says, one of the greatest regrets in life is being what others would want you to be, rather than being yourself. I'll say that again. One of the greatest regrets in life is being what others would want you to be rather than being yourself. Because you see, that's one of the areas that I've seen so many people, children who've grown up where their parents wanting them to be something else, wanting them to take a path that they didn't want. And then there comes a point where they sort of think, maybe I should have gone the way mum or dad suggested. Or maybe if I did, I'd be closer to mum or dad. That's just one example that I've seen time and time again. People, and if it's you, then free your children as well. Give them the freedom to go in the direction that gives them happiness. Don't give them this burden of regret potentially. But regrets can be of any sort. You missed the woman of your dreams. She went and married someone else. Or the boy of your dreams. He went a different direction because you made a choice not to commit or to commit to somebody else. That's the situation I've seen time and time again. I've seen others where people have taken jobs, paid more salary, company car, a private office, and yet they hate the job. They absolutely hate what they do. I've seen that time and time again. You regret it. You say, those are years of my life that have gone doing what I hated doing. Why do that? And so here's my own personal example. Two things. I would say the first is when I lived in Switzerland, I was a successful footballer. It's a long story, but I played football, very successful. I was in my teens, so studying at the International School in Geneva, playing for a club in Geneva. And I was spotted by scouts. And in the end, again, long story, I was offered a professional football contract. At the time, arguably the top team in Switzerland was Servette de Genève, Geneva team. I turned them down. I wanted to go to university to study to be a civil engineer. Now, the few people who heard of that story, and certainly my brothers, said I was a complete idiot. Why would I turn down a professional contract? You know what professional contracts are in sport these days. Okay, that was a long time ago, but nonetheless, the money, the fame, the glory, the girls, let's be honest, the women that would hang around you thinking you were a superstar, the autographs, all the amazing things that go with being a professional footballer. But I didn't want any of that. I wanted to study and become a civil engineer, which I did. Do I have any regrets? Because that's a question that those who know that story have asked me. And I can honestly sit here and say to you, absolutely none. I have not looked back at it. Not twice, not even once. Because I made my choice. I made my decision. It was not about money. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about fortune. It wasn't about anything else. My vision and my goal was that I wanted to be a civil engineer. And I strove for that. I worked very hard to become that. So long as your goals are well established and your dreams and your expectations are clear, you will get to where you want to be. And you'll look back on the regrets and you go, you know what? That was fine. That was fine. I can live with it. I don't need that. And then in closing, another situation, maybe a little bit more frivolous, light. I've been to Las Vegas on many, many occasions professionally. Never, ever gambled. Did not interest me, does not interest me. Gambling does not interest me. And a friend who I used to meet up, she used to come down from Canada. We used to work together back in the day. She'd come down to Canada, see me whilst I'm there doing business. And every time she would say, let's go play on the machines. And I'd say, no, I don't want to. It makes no interest. Eventually, I said, okay, fine. And I gave her $20. She said, well, why don't you place the bet? I said, no, I do not bet. I do not want to bet. It's not my thing. But why don't you take the $20, see if you can make some money, and then we can pay for dinner together. She went and she lost the $20 completely, which was fine. Did I feel any hardship, regret? Okay, $20 is not a big thing in the grand scheme of things, But you could have said, well, I could have won lots of money had I done it. I wasn't looking at anything but the moment of friendship, of fun, just to do that. That's a light-hearted one, but sometimes we're in there, little things like that, you sort of look back and go, well, maybe if I'd played myself, I would have won some money. I don't know, and I don't care. She played the $20. She was disappointed. She was apologetic that she'd lost $20 for me. Going, it's okay. A, I gave you permission. B, you did what you said you would do. You didn't win. Neither of us won. $20 down. Regrets can be small or big, depending on how disproportionate you want to make it. But my encouragement to you, indeed my insistence, is never have regrets. They would only take you down when you want to rise up above it all and look down and laugh at it. Laugh at it, make a joke of it. I've done many things which I'd rather not have done. None of it illegal, none of it taking me to prison or whatever, but I've made some choices that were not the best for me or for my family. But I live with it, and I'm totally at peace with it. I encourage you to be at peace with whatever your choices have been or are. Accept them, embrace them, find a solution if you have a current problem, and move on. I hope this has resonated with you. Please feel free to like, comment, and share, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Thank you.